Well, good afternoon, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally, and I mean literally, does not work. I hope you guys are all having a great Saturday afternoon. We are actually here getting set up for our live stream coming up in about 30 minutes from now. We'll be talking to Brother Roz as well as Stuart Morrison. We'll be doing a preview of week number 1. You know how good that feels saying preview for week number 1. Guys, football is back. We already have the very first game in the books. Unfortunately, it was close, but no cigar for our Dallas Cowboys. And I'm excited as can be about being here and bringing what we're planning on doing this season. We're growing some of the content that we're doing. And tomorrow, I really look forward to actually having this as a sports center. You know, I said kind of like what we are doing is we're taking some of our favorite things, or at least some of the favorite things I have, which is Red Zone, being able to keep up with all of the going-ons in the NFL, you know, touchdowns and everything else, as well as being able to go through and watch with a bunch of friends, as well as being kind of like Sports Center, so we can go through and give you the fantasy updates and the implications on your fantasy teams. We can look at what's going on. We're going to be trolling Philly 500 with our exclusive Philly Cam. We'll be checking in on the Washington football team. We will be covering it all, so that way we can bring you the latest and the greatest on the NFL. So, in dealing with this week 1, you know, I've got the usual suspects, the usual trolls that are out there that are saying, you're just looking for excuses. Just admit it. The Cowboys just suck. They can't get right and blah, blah. And, you know, the usual stuff. Okay? I get that. I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm not going to lie to you and say that I'm not. I'm going to look at things maybe a little bit differently. But I ask you, on this situation, just this one right here, let's just look at this for a second rationally and compare two things. There's so many things that happened in that game that could have been game-changing for the Cowboys, okay? In the end, good teams find a way to win. Bad ones find ways to lose. But I feel good that my team at least competed with the Super Bowl defending champions in their house as they had their celebration party. We were the sacrificial lamb on homecoming. We were the slump buster that was there for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yet, we had them scared going down the wire that, you know, we might lose this game. You looked at Bruce Arians on the sidelines, dude was sweating bullets. But one of the things, and this felt like total deja vu to me, was the no call. The no call on pass interference. And I just want one thing. I just want consistency on this call. Let's go to the tape here and let's look and listen to what some of the others actually have to say about what we're talking about here, because this ain't right. This just ain't right. It's not. Okay? Let's listen to the talking heads. Boom. Play.
It's a really solid note taker.
That's good. So you write in your diary also. I love that. We both do it, Broussard, me and you. Let's turn our attention to the big non-call last night. Chris Godwin's crucial 24-yard catch that set up the game-winning field goal. Some saying it was a flop. Some saying it was a push-off. Some saying nothing because they didn't see it. They just didn't watch the game at all. Don't listen to those people. Here's what Godwin had to say. Take a listen.
No. Never worry about offensive pass interference. Just try to go out there and make a play. I think it's just like a little like hand fighting on both parts. But you know, he had some good coverage. It was a great pass, and I just try to make a play for my team.
Never worries about OPI. Hey, Greg, you had over 570 receptions in your career. What did you make? Take Nick out of it for a second. What did you make of this play?
You know, when I was playing, this was legal. Like, it was illegal, but we got away with it. The offensive pass interference wasn't a big call. But in today's game, The way they call it, there's so much discrepancy, and this is why I don't like it. You have to throw this because he did disengage the defender at the end, and I'm a receiver. I don't like it, but because they're both in a arm wrestling battle, which we heard Chris Godwin say, but at the very end, he does disbar the defender with his arm. And once that arm extends, you typically have to see a yellow flag thrown. Look at the arm extend right there at the end. Once you see that, that is typically indicative of offensive pass interference.
So, Greg, let me defend the officials on this one for a moment, but then I want to show a different
don't defend them.
What you're basically saying is you want it called consistently. And what I would argue is this is called very consistently. That is offensive pass interference as long as Tom Brady isn't the one throwing the ball. And if Tom Brady is the one throwing the ball, it's not. Like, that's how it's called, and that's how it's usually been called historically. And so was this a no doubt about it egregious miss? No. This is a judgment call. I think it's 60-40 OPI in most circumstances, but it happens. But the play earlier that led to, instead of being first and goal, a field goal by Dallas is beyond me. And that's Levante David getting upset, ripping his helmet off, banging it on the ground, and then walking. And what is more baffling about this is the gaslighting by folks on Twitter saying, actually, that's not against the rules. What? Yeah. And then they're sending me screenshots saying, no, look at the rule book. It says it's only a penalty if you take your helmet off. And this is what it says in the rule book. To taunt an opponent, okay, he's not doing that. To celebrate, oh, he's not doing that. Or in demonstration. Well, that's a demonstration. It's a demonstration of frustration. And if that's not against the rules, you know who'd love to know it? Keanu Neal, who plays for the Cowboys, who a few years ago popped his Achilles. And after he popped his Achilles, when he's laying on the ground, threw his helmet off in frustration. And the referees flagged him. It's an amazing clip you can go watch on YouTube. The referees make him take a timeout for the injured player and flag him because he's on the ground with a popped Achilles and he threw his helmet off. My whole life watching football, that's a flag.
Come on.
And that is a massive spot in the game. It's going to be first and goal. Instead, it's a field goal. Now, amazingly, they end up making the field goal, and Zerline did rally at the end of the game. But those are two calls, in my opinion, Broussard, that typically go one way. And, it just happens. It just happens that they went the way of Brady's team. It just happens. But that's a flag, man. In fact, real quick, before you go, Broussard, Greg, just tell me. That's a flag, right? Your whole career playing, is that a flag?
That's a flag.
That's a flag.
That's a flag.
Okay.
Every single night you play football, that happens, it's a flag.
I called it that night.
All right, look, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that Greg Jennings has gone over to the dark side against the receivers, Greg. This was not offensive pass interference. All right, and here's the proof. Jordan Lewis said he didn't say it was. After the game,
he don't want to get fined. He don't want to get fined.
I mean, when they're in films, they're going to point this out to Lewis. And what human being wouldn't say? But it was offensive pass interference, coach. He pushed off. If I'm in the press conference after the game, I'm asked about it, I'm like, yeah, you saw it. Everybody saw it. You can say it in a way where you don't get fined or whatever, but you saw his hand extend. He pushed me down. I didn't flop. He didn't say it. He said, I can't call it like that. He said, the ref said no call, so it's a no call. So if Jordan Lewis is...
Enough of that. All right. Fine. Let's take Chris Broussard at his view of that, okay? If you want to go there and say that's not a call, okay, it's fine. But either way, somebody owes me a game. Somebody owes me a game because let me remind you last year's season opener, and it's kind of crazy that we have two season openers where we get screwed by the same call reversed. It's crazy. Because, mind you, this was the fourth quarter, 31 seconds left in the game. Cowboys driving, okay? Cowboys driving. 31 seconds to go. And here we go. Here we go. Dak Prescott back. Launches it down the field to Michael Gallup. Boom. On the 15-yard line. Great pass. Great catch. Boom. First down should be on the 16-yard line. And, mind you, watch this again. Because they say that this was offensive pass interference. Here it is. That was a great acting job by Jalen Ramsey, who had locked in Michael Gallup's hand. Let's look at it again. Okay. Look at it. Boom. Okay. Take a look. Right here, you see Ramsey's got his hand. Okay. He's got his arm curled. Michael Gallup has his hand in there. His elbow is bent. His elbow is still bent. Jalen Ramsey's got his arm hooked around him. Look. Michael Gallup is kind of like, I'm trying to get my hand out of here so I can adjust on the ball. Jalen Ramsey does this whole faking thing. Yeah. 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 So which is it? We got screwed both times. And you could say, oh, well, you can't call it. It's just hand checking or whatever. Okay, fine. Then either in Tampa Bay, you're right on the call, or in Dallas, you're right on the call. Which one? Because we've had both of them called it completely opposite against the Dallas Cowboys. You can call me a whiner or a crybaby or whatever, but if you're honestly telling me that if that happened to your team, you wouldn't say that's a bullshit call? And the Levante David slamming his helmet on the ground, that's not a call? Come on, man. This is where you got to look. Take your haterade goggles off and at least look at it from the standpoint, if that was your team on the other end of it, how would you feel about it? And that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Anyway, I hope you guys tune in for our live stream. We'll be coming up in, 30 minutes from now. By the time you guys see it, it'll be just about live. But as always, you know how we roll. Watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. I wish we had won that game.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
I'll see you guys later. Peace.